All right, guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. My name is Eric Paulzine. Going to be breaking down the Tour Championship here for you guys. It is a no-cut event. It's kind of a simple approach event as well. It's basically like playing a round 4 showdown, but for 4 days, okay? We're going to get the basic concepts down. It's going to be pretty easy to nail down. If I wanted to, I could make this a 3-minute video. So I'll try not to make it that long. I just want to do some touch on some news and notes and stuff for you guys. So I will be telling you guys who the winner was of the cat contest, if you will. We actually had a few, like pretty crazy. The lost tint really helped out a lot of people, which I'm excited that a lot of people got it. And also there was like some names I forgot about on that show that I'm like, that was a fun character. So I'll show you guys that right after this, but just talking about the 2022 season, very fun season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm ready to go for another one already. I will be making some updates here on the website kind of throughout the off season. So be on the lookout for that. It should be ready for the first tournament here in about a month from now. So I'm excited to get that out to you guys. And then kind of with the off season, if you will, we don't really get an off season, but off season, if you will, I will be kind of doing maybe random videos, just kind of highlighting basic strategy and like betting or PGA DFS or what we learned in 2022. A lot of people maybe don't realize this, but I've been doing a lot of deep dive data this season, and it's kind of back the 9to5 database a little bit there, but it's a lot of stuff that really just isn't out there that I'm excited to get out there. Maybe some like preconceived thoughts that just aren't true anymore, or like, hey, what's like the most predictive stuff that we're looking at? Like midway through the season, I was able to tell that players that really rank out in round 1 showdown are just like significantly better plays than golfers that don't. Obviously getting off to a good start is great. We saw that ownership leverage was very much predictive. The players that were like the highest owned on the slate was like the least predictive of, like, if you looked at DraftKings salary, betting odds, the 9to5 model, the player pool, stat fit, recent form, course history, the ownership was actually the least predicted. And I've touched on this a little bit as well. It's just that with ownership, partially the reason is because you're trying to find value there. And so that kind of is part of the reason why it was the least predictive, but just fun stuff there. In terms of like the 9to5 model versus DraftKings salary, it did kind of exactly what I expected it to do, which is kind of even keel with salaries and odds, like percentage wise. But in terms of a made cut, it was about 12% better at predicting a made cut or miscut. So that I think is pretty awesome to see, to have that data and to be able to show it to you guys. So that'll be stuff I'll be getting out to you in this like 3-week span that we have. And that's kind of what sucks about being a PGA DFS content provider. It's like the off season is short. So it's updating a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, especially with the NFL season right here. If you guys haven't caught it, I've been putting out a lot of NFL content, kind of taking the channel off. I'm pretty excited for it. Like, to have the momentum going into the NFL season like this is exciting. So if you guys haven't checked that out, and if you guys like fantasy football, NFL DFS, check out those videos. That, it's the same quality stuff that comes with these videos, and just more focused, more geared towards that as well. So it's exciting times for 9to5. Let's just put it that way. But let's get into this week, guys, and we'll start off with telling you guys who won the contest. So I'm going to pull up the picture right now, and we should get a drum roll, I feel like. All right, ready? And boom. All right, so Hugo Hurley Reyes. And so his name is Hugo, okay? Goes by Huginton occasionally. Anyways, Hugo, cat's name, that was his given name anyways. And his brother, also given name. It ends with an O. I'm not going to do the Name Your Cat contest. Not this week. Maybe I'll start the season off correctly with that. But anyways, we had Tony, Dan, and Bob like partially get it right. I think 2 of them said Hurley, which, if Mad for Gaming and Kenneth didn't get it correct, I would have given it to them. So they'll get a half of a month of a membership there. And then Mad for Gaming and Kenneth will get a full month. I think Tony guests like Hugo Hurley and then also had another guest. So if he didn't have on that third guest, I would have given it to him as well. But I was kind of surprised that everyone, that slight loss clue really helped out a lot of people. So, all right, if your guys' name is one of these people here, please show me, if you can, a little screenshot of your comment on there and send it to me either in an email or Twitter message preferably, okay? And then I will get that membership set up for you for the first tournament of the year, and that'll be for that first month of the PGA DFS season, okay? And I'll probably get it set up that week for you guys, just so that you guys have it that week. So send me that message, and then the email is going to be, it's in the comments, or it's in the description below. So let's get into the picks now, guys. All right, so breaking down the Tour Championship. Now that we got that fluff out of the way, gosh, I mean, that's just, the fluff, I mean, the cats, the fluff, you guys know fantasy without the fluff. I mean, it's great. That's a great dad joke. I'm not a dad yet, but, well, I am, cat dad, whatever. Okay, getting into the picks here, guys. Sorry for all the fluff, seriously. Okay. The Tour Championship is set up correctly, okay? It's kind of unfortunate that this is kind of what they need to do, but there's really no better way to go about setting up the Tour Champion, like figuring out who the Tour Champion is, because, I mean, this is just the best way to do it. Maybe, no, you couldn't even do like a bye, like, oh, they don't have to play the third round or until the second round. Like, you can't really do that. That kind of ruins the nature of the event. That's part of the reason why, like, Live Golf is kind of an afterthought, because, well, that idea is kind of, you want golfers playing all 4 rounds, you know. So, you know, some golfers are going to start with the lead, and that's going to directly impact our DraftKings strategy. And, you know, it is what it is. Like, we can see 2 shots gained or lost in the first 2 holes. Like, Patrick Cantlay could possibly have the lead after the first 2 holes. That's not going to happen, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, this is good to reference, like, where a golfer's starting at, because, like I said, this is going to be like a round 4 showdown slate where the points at the end of the week are going to matter where they're finishing, okay? But at the same time, if you can get someone down here, really any of these guys that goes out and shoots, I don't know, whatever the score would be to get to like T6 or T5, that's huge. That's what you need to hit on. Obviously, you need to hit on the winner, but you're going to need to find the 1 or 2 players down here in this like lower range that's going to go low and kind of outproduce where they're starting at with their price point. So just showing you guys, the DraftKings salary is very different for this setup as well. We're going to have some 12K guys, some 13K guys, which is crazy. We never get that. And then we're going to have some like 5K guys. Like, this is an extremely weird week. And this is the part of the video where I say this week, both DraftKings and kind of for the Tour Championship, is kind of a week where you just put your feet back and kind of just relax. It is a fun week. We earned this week by grinding out all those weeks of PGA DFS contests, of good contests. Like, even last week where we knew Studs and Duds would be the approach, Trey Mullinax, Scott Stallings came through for us. A bunch of the top end guys in the player pool, not named Matt Fitzpatrick and Tony Finau, came through. You know, we had a player pool that, if you got the right combination, you took down a GPP. We earned that. You know, we earned the right to take this week off, if you will. We're going to use this as a fun week. We can be competitive with it as well. Obviously, we're going to make competitive lineups, but this is a week where we just kind of enjoy it. We get to enjoy all the stories that developed and happened this season, whether that's Xander kind of finally figuring it out, winning 3 times on the PGA Tour. Patrick Cantlay, you know, even last week where the man had kind of not clutched up in 2 straight playoffs, and then finally last week he kind of came through in the clutch and didn't have to go to a playoff. Will Zalatoris coming through finally for a bunch of people. And on the flip side of that, Luke List finally coming through for a bunch of people there. That was our long shot bet winner of the season, actually. Luke List, sadly, like 65-1. Scott Stallings last week, 150-1 would have been nice, but he fell 1 shot short, which was kind of the expectation. It's like, we knew Scott Stallings last week, hit or miss play. If he's hitting, like, top 10, basically guaranteed last week. So I didn't really expect him to win, but it was just kind of fun to have that out there. Cameron Young, like, could he pull the Xander special and not win the Tour Championship, but win the low score betting? And just while I'm pointing that out, The betting sheet this week for 9to5 Sports will be based off of their odds to win without the stroke advantage, just so you guys know. That's what the betting sheet is going off of, okay? It's raw, just not with the stroke advantage, just so you know that. That's just for the betting sheet. Let's see here. Anyone else, like storyline-wise? I mean, there's a bunch. Seb Straka really should have had 2 more PGA Tour wins than he did. That RBC Heritage, terrible 18 hole. Like, what was he doing there? It was dumb. And then his last tournament 2 weeks ago, like he probably should have won that tournament. Brian Harman, how did he make it this? Like, what? In what world did Brian Harman make this far? Because he was a headache this whole season. Adam Scott, kind of same thing. Like, how did these guys make it here? Billy Horschel, he won. He was a fun player for us this season, and it'll be interesting to see at the end of this season if he was our most owned player. There's a few names like Corey Connors, Xander, Matt Fitzpatrick. It'll be fun to see. Okay, so let's truly get into it now, guys. So course history wise, we're going to look at course history. Justin Thomas and actually Xander both have the best course history here. They've been dominating. I mean, 4 straight years of top 7 finishes or better, and that's with the Tour Championship kind of switching formats and styles in between there. So really strong stuff there from them. Adam Scott has played well at this tournament, and that's where, all right, if we're looking at course history, I don't really think I think where they finished, just that's what we want to look at, because these golfers know what they need to do heading into the event, whether there was a stroke advantage or not. The fact that these players all seemingly played well at this tournament, I like to see. Like Jon Rahm, kind of knew what he had to do, played well last year. Rory played well. Tony played well. Hideki kind of mixed results. Billy Horschel, a top 10, 30th, that's terrible. And then second, played well. Sungjae Im, that's not really that great. We can just kind of see it there. Recent form-wise, players in the best recent form. Xander, no shock there. Rory, besides that miscut, probably would have been the best in recent form. His miscut 2 weeks ago. Jon Rahm, third best in recent form. And this is where I've been seeing Jon Rahm kind of getting hated on Twitter. Strangely enough, I'm like, he just had a great season. Like, what's going on? Just because he hasn't, won? I don't know. He's kind of getting the DJ treatment from, last year pretty much, where DJ was playing well, just wasn't winning all too much or whatnot. So, I don't know, just interesting there. Tony Finau, great recent form, obviously, not last week. Patrick Cantlay, great recent form with last week. Matt Fitzpatrick, great recent form, obviously without last week. Kind of a slight drop-off. Max Homa, Will Zalatoris, Scotty Scheffler, Aaron Wise. Now, let's see. That's a name that's interesting to me. Very cheap. What does he rank on the field? 10th best recent form in the field. Cam Smith would be higher up. The withdrawal kind of hurt him. I don't know if he's going to play in this. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, but we can kind of see what's going on there. Staff hit wise. So staff hit wise, what we're looking at this week is this is a tournament in which just there's no true one key stat. It's you got to play good golf. This course is designed really well. It's designed to factor in all assets of your game. So total driving, ball striking. Yes, we want to be looking at that. And I just kind of looked at stroke gain tee to green instead of drawing in on stroke gain approach or stroke gain around the green or stroke gain putting, because all that stuff is going to be a factor. And then stroke gain differential, also looking at that as well. Hideki Matsuyama actually ranking out as the best stat fit when we're just looking at those stats, which is kind of interesting to me. A lot of kind of random names popping up there stat fit wise when we just look at those ones. Specialist, once again, just drawing in the specialist stats for this tournament, which course designer, Donald Ross, location, Georgia, scoring type, kind of normal. Weather is supposed to be good with a little bit of rain, so the greens will be a little bit softer. They are Bermuda greens. The length is a normal style course or normal length course. A par 70 playing 7,334 yards or whatever it is I guess long in the sense, but overall the course is kind of normal to longish. No cut events, and then a par 70. So these are the golfers that really pop out specialist wise when we're just looking at that. So now we're going to get into the cheat sheet. We're going to get into the picks here for you guys. So looking at it, the players that I like the most are kind of the players that I've liked the last 3 weeks. Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, Jon Rahm I do like. Rory makes a lot of sense. JT makes a lot of sense, especially at 9.4. Now, I know JT's starting a little bit lower down, like -3, but would it be too shocking to see him end up, I don't know, tied for 4th or something like that? That wouldn't be too shocking. At 9.4, I do like that a decent amount. Corey Connors, he played better last week than I expected. I kind of expect him to, be in the top 25% of the field, but what does that mean? So he would finish a little bit better than where he's currently starting. Matt Fitzpatrick, what a disappointment last week. I was pretty gung-ho about him, and he let me down. So just looking at, like, Scott Stallings is priced up a little bit, but he is starting at -3, I guess, which is obviously better than even par. So I kind of get it there. But he is someone that, once again, I think he's just a strong hit or miss play. Overall ranks out 16th best in the model, so a little bit below 50%, but still pretty good. The worst play is KH Lee this week. The one or the two interesting plays, I guess, would be Aaron Wise, is ranking out pretty well, 13th best in the field. And the problem with Aaron Wise is he's most likely going to be chalked. Like, it just makes sense for him to be chalked. So for now, I'm going to put him in as a core play. And this is where, like, I'm kind of saying maybe we just don't overthink it this week and we just make a couple of builds, have fun with it, and kind of just get out of here for the season, because Aaron Wise is a great play. 6th best staff in the field, 10th best recent form, 6th best course history. I'm curious about the course history. All right, so he's played it once. 4 years ago, finished 15th. Very good stuff there. Let's see recent form-wise. Let's look at his last few starts. So he's come a long way from being that random chalk in that 1 week. And guys, the ownership leverage tool was very spot on last week. Even with a lot of the high-end players being undervalued, the ones that were most undervalued were more accurate than the ownership for that week. But good stuff there. So recent form-wise, we can see one miscut and then just a bunch of solid finishes in there. So really with this play, what you're hoping for is that, probably a top 15 finish coming from even to, 15th or so, 12th place finish. I think that's in the realm of outcomes there. I could see him doing that, going low. Salih Tagala, I actually don't mind, but he's kind of priced out 6.7. Like, he is someone that we have seen when he needs to fire at pins, when he needs to score, he can kind of turn that up and do that. Whereas, like, someone like Adam Scott, like, it's kind of the exact opposite, where Adam Scott's just kind of a gradually playing better type of guy. He's not going to be someone that's just going to spike and then kind of, that's where I maybe don't like him. Kind of same thing with Brian Harman, although Brian Harman ranking out 17th best, that's pretty decent as well. So we're seeing the struggles here, guys. Like, it's a tough week, and this is where I'm saying just have fun with it. Like, don't take it too seriously. I know last year I actually had a pretty good week by just going very studs and duds approach. Like, all right, I'm picking these couple of guys, and they're going to go low. I think this actually might have been one of the better tournaments of that last season. I didn't really check it too much because it's just like, all right, which scrubs can we play? Let's go Aaron Wise, maybe Tagala, maybe Stallings, and then who can we pair him up with? You can't pair him up with Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele. You'd have to choose one or the other, and that's the tough part. So, like, to me, Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele would be core plays. Like, Xander's ranking out as the top pick in the 9-5 model. If I had to pick someone to win, regardless of strokes or not, I would probably go with Xander. Just the Xandar is going off, guys. That's really what it is. I like Xander. He looked really good last week, and I think we'll know pretty early if he's going to be in contention or not. You can kind of tell just based off the front nine. Obviously in great recent form besides that one random tournament at the start of the playoffs. Been playing really well other than that. And then we can also look at, like, Patrick Cantlay. I think he makes for a strong core play, but can we fit both of them into our builds? We can't. That's the worry. Obviously was able to play extremely well last year at this track and able to fend off Jon Rahm, who I also think Jon Rahm, another great core play, makes a lot of sense. And that's the problem. It's like, I love Jon Rahm. I love Xander. Love Patrick Cantlay. And then I also do really like Justin Thomas, who we know Justin Thomas, when he needs to go low, he can. Will he do that? I don't know. He's really not in the best recent form in the field. 18th best recent form in the field. That does worry me. Okay, so maybe we just skip over a lot of these plays in this price point range. Cameron Young, another one of those guys who can go low when he needs to. But really, for me, guys, it's going to be a little bit of Rory, John Rahm, Xander, Patrick Cantlay, fading Scotty, trying to get lucky there. Okay, fingers crossed that he doesn't play well, because really up until last week was not playing well. And I don't know, like I kind of think like golf, half of PGA DFS and just golf in general is mental. We know that. I think he knew for a while, for a couple of months now, that besides the majors, it didn't really matter what he did at a tournament up until really last week. He knew for a while that he was going to have a 2-stroke lead pretty much, I think. So I think mentally he wasn't as geared up to play in those tournaments as you would typically want him to be, as you would typically want someone at his price point, you know? So that's where it's weird, and that's where it gets hard. But yeah, I'm going to be going Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, John Rahm, Rory, maybe JT, we'll see. And then kind of just fading that whole price point range. And then going maybe Sahith Theegala, maybe Billy Horschel, probably not. Aaron Wise, I might just bite the bullet on Brian Harman and try to finally get him right. Can he finally pay off this year? We'll see. I might do that. Probably Aaron Wise, Brian Harman, and see where that takes us. You know, that's the week, guys. Honestly, though, guys, I do really appreciate all the support this year. It was another successful year with 9 to 5 Sports, and it just keeps growing on top of each other. Like, if you would have told me kind of this time 2 years ago that I would have kind of the database and the cheat sheet set up like this, and just an awesome way and in a mobile-friendly way like this with a lineup optimizer and everything, people taking down showdown GPPs, people taking down GPPs, or having a chance to win a tournament like every week, you know, I probably would have believed you, honestly, but at the same time, it's like, it's pretty awesome. So, you know, I love that stuff there. And hey, next year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, we had 14 outright winners. I'm going to post them on the wall somewhere. I'm going to have a wall, a print off poster, flyer type thing of the winners from that season. So hopefully we can start off with at least one winner in the first month of the season. So I got some bare walls on the back side of this camera that needs to be filled. So that's the plan there, is I can take care of that. So that's all I have for you guys for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys had a good season this year in PGA DFS. That's really all I have for you guys. I might do a fades and outright video, but I feel like that would just be a lot of fluff. Like, this week is what it is, you know? Like, take it or leave it. If you want to play it, good. If not, you don't have to. Okay, that's all I have. Good luck this weekend as always, guys. Let's keep cashing.